WWE Backlash. Remember when Vince used to name it WrestleMania Backlash? Yeah, those are the days, man. I hope we never go back to those days ever again. The 2025 version of Backlash. Man, that was a great 3 hours of pro wrestling, man. That was a great 3 hours. I was thoroughly sports entertained. Great fatal four-way. Bird Lady might have broken her beak tonight in a great IC title match. Lyra Valkyria. Pat McAfee survives Gunther. He doesn't win, obviously, but you got to give Mr. McAfee his flowers, bro. And John Cena, Randy Orton, man, it might have been overbooked like a motherfucker, but they put on a better match than the main event of WrestleMania. Who would have guessed, Dwayne? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it's Saturday night. It's a great night. And we're going to the venue. I got my cold beverage, and I hope you guys got yours. And all I want to know on this Saturday night is what the fuck are you guys drinking? I'll see you over there.
Why has Triple H been so successful? Why is Triple H running WWE better than Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard on Monday and Friday night? Long-term booking.
What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. This is your WWE Backlash post show for May 10th, 2025. I am your host, JD from New York. As always, coming to you live from the OTS venue inside my mother's basement. Thank you guys so very much for joining me on this Saturday evening, wherever you may be. We are live as live could be, and the chat is telling me that R-Truth may rest in peace. R-Truth just got AA'd through the press conference table, which John Cena was sitting at, and R-Truth is now no more. R-Truth got put through the table at the press conference by John Cena as a, I guess, thank you for coming to my aid and trying to help me win over Randy Orton tonight. You know, there was a moment, I don't know if you guys saw at the end. Usually people are quick to shut the TV off as soon as the end credits roll and we see Paul Levesque and Lee Fitting and we see the event's trademark logo in the bottom left of the screen. At the end of the show, John Cena, even though he kind of got on the microphone and said what he said, there was a moment after the show went black and then they come back before they go to the pre-show panel or the post-show panel. And there was a moment where John Cena was kind of, I don't know what he was doing, but he was in his own mindset. I don't know if he was contemplating what the fans were chanting at him. They were chanting, "Thank you, Cena," at the end of the match as he was walking out of the building. I don't know if that is the beginning stages of him coming back to his senses. I don't know if that is the beginning stages of John Cena turning back to being a babyface. I thought that might have been the situation there, and they were kind of teasing it, and we were going to get a long game out of it. But at the press conference, the post-show press conference, they put R-Truth through the table, and I'm assuming we're going to get R-Truth versus John Cena on this final run of John Cena in 2025. But I thought that was eventual seeds being planted for John Cena turning back to being a babyface, because he's not going to retire a heel. He's going to retire a babyface, and he's going to accept the fans once again at the end of his year this year. So we'll see what happens there. But the rumor is R-Truth versus John Cena for the WWE Championship at Saturday night's main event, potentially. I seen a report going around today that in 3 weeks, which would be that, John Cena would defend the WWE Championship against R-Truth. I figured R-Truth would be welcomed by John Cena, and we get Ron Killings back, and we get R-Truth being a heel alongside John Cena. I don't know what the plan is, but R-Truth is being integrated into whatever story John Cena is telling on this WWE Championship run that he's on right now as a heel. We'll get into John Cena and Randy Orton a little bit later. We'll give our quick thoughts here before we get into the actual review. I want to thank you guys for joining me here on Saturday night. We got almost 3,000 people in here on a Saturday night. Thank you guys very much. Always appreciate the large audiences we usually have after these shows. You make this the #1 place to be after shows like this. I thoroughly enjoyed myself tonight, man. Backlash, a lot of people, including us content creators with a head straight on our shoulders, who know right from wrong, good from bad. A lot of people in the community, especially the IWC, the more vocal minority of the IWC, wrote this show off. And a lot of us were worried because there wasn't really a lot of substance on this show. There were 5 matches, and a lot of people usually get frustrated with the fact that Triple H could do a 6th match or maybe a 7th match. And no matter how many times we have to explain it to people, though I would have loved a 6th match because the show was really flowing very nicely tonight. 5 matches, especially when the show was really fucking good, you're not really asking for more. And this, again, I have to explain this over and over again. I feel like a broken record. This is exactly what Triple H did with the NXT takeovers during the black and gold era. You only got, and I mean only got, 5 matches. And all of those matches were bangers. The crowd was hot. He didn't want to give you any more because he knew he had you and you'd be back wanting more. That's his mentality. Sometimes these shows don't come off the way that they did tonight. Tonight was the exception. Sometimes those shows could use a 6th match. Tonight wasn't that night. Tonight wasn't a night where we needed another match, even though we all wanted it. We all wanted it because we were having a good time. We all wanted it because the show was fucking good. But when the show's not good and the show doesn't come off the way that it did like it did tonight, We usually want another match or another 2 matches, rounding it out to 6 or 7 matches on these B-level pay-per-views. Backlash was lacking coming into it. Wasn't really a lot going on there. The build up and down the card, I mean, you look at the build for this show, Pat McAfee and Gunther was the best story going into St. Louis. Gunther and Pat McAfee was the best story being told on WWE television. And that in itself is going to raise a few eyebrows because one is one of the best pro wrestlers on the planet. And the other guy he's in the ring with is a fucking color commentator. An ex-athlete, a former football player, but a color commentator and a podcast host. So people were a little concerned just based off that. Tonight was definitely one of those nights. And I'm not saying that it's going to happen all the time and to trust the process and shut the fuck up and just trust Triple H and let him do what he's got to do. Triple H is usually the one in the kitchen cooking. He usually comes out, he serves you a 5-course meal. I don't want to use any of these silly IWC narratives and these slang words that everybody loves to use on social media. But tonight, WWE basically said, all right, listen, you know, we got 5 matches. We got 3 weeks coming out of WrestleMania to put a show together. We got Saturday night's main event coming up in just a couple of weeks after this. We got back-to-back shows. We got everything really bunched close together. Then we're going to go right into, you know, the Money in the Bank show on June 6th. A lot of it is just closely bunched together, and I think a lot of people are concerned that WWE is not going to have a lot of time to start building these shows the way that they need to be built. But tonight, WWE basically said, all right, you could doubt us. You could sit there and say it's 3 weeks. It's not really looking good on paper, but give it a chance. Let the fucking show play out, man. Watch it to its conclusion. And that's exactly what they did tonight, man. They delivered from top to bottom, from match 1 all the way to match 5, which was the end. John Cena and Randy Orton for the WWE Championship. We started off great with a fatal 4-way for the United States Championship and everything in between. Becky, Lyra, Dominic, Penta, and Gunther and Pat McAfee. I thought Backlash was a great show. Backlash is going to be one of those shows that's going to be written off for the lack of build. But when you watch it and you listen and you absorb it, it's going to go down as probably some of the most explosive 3 hours that WWE's produced all year as far as their programming is concerned. I had a very good time watching this show. I was into it from the word go, and that fatal 4-way, man, they did not stop. All gas, no brakes is what Jacob Fatu says. WWE used that same mentality, and they went and did that. All gas, no brakes. We went from that match into Becky Lyra, into Dominic Penta, into Gunther and Pat McAfee, and then into the main event, man. From top to bottom, this may have been some of the best 3 hours that WWE's produced all year. This may be somewhat of a hot take. I don't really give a shit. It's my opinion only. You want your own opinion? Go start your own fucking podcast. Backlash was actually better than night 1 of WrestleMania. In every sense of the word. From top to bottom. Randy Orton and John Cena, which a lot of us were afraid of, rightfully so, because John Cena looked awful at WrestleMania. They produced a better main event tonight. Him and Randy Orton produced a better main event than John Cena and Cody Rhodes did in the biggest show of the year in the WrestleMania Night 2 main event. I thought tonight was a great show. Great show. Now we're going into Saturday night's main event. Obviously, WWE could have done a 6th match. They could have did Jey Uso and Logan Paul on tonight's show. They're saving that for Saturday night's main event. They could have did the women's tag team match with Rhea Ripley and Io Sky versus Julia and Roxanne Perez. They could have given this match a 6th match or a 7th match. They're saving that for Monday Night Raw. This show did not have CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, Sami Zayn, Cody Rhodes. This show was missing some of its top stars. And WWE produced a solid 3 hours of television that kept you engaged with an energetic crowd and from top to bottom delivered some explosive in-ring action. What more could you ask for? What more could you ask for? I thought they hit a home run tonight. It's not going to be one of those shows that I'm going to go back and watch and look back 10 years from now and say, oh, man, Backlash is one of them all-time classics back from 2025. No, it did its job. It was a great show after WrestleMania with an energetic crowd that got you excited for what's to come on Raw, going into Saturday night's main event, and then into Money in the Bank. What more could you ask for? What more could you ask for? Fatal 4-Way was tremendous. United States Championship and all the people, all the men that are vying for the United States Championship, that is the hottest that the United States Championship has been in years. I can't even go back and tell you when the United States Championship had this level of competition vying for that title. Solo Sikoa. How many of you guys watched my SmackDown review last night? What did I tell you? What did I tell you? I said, I would not be surprised if we start to see the beginning phases of Solo Sikoa coming up with his own plan, and being that Jacob Fatu does not want anything to do with Solo's plan, Solo makes up his own game plan. And his own game plan would be Jeff Cobb. Said that legitimately 24 hours ago, right here on this stream for the Friday Night SmackDown post show. And what do we got? We got Jeff Cobb making his WWE debut tonight in the United States Championship Fatal 4-Way, seemingly looking like the new right-hand man for Solo Sikoa. And Jacob Fatu did not know what to think of Jeff Cobb. So he's there. He got a decent reaction for his WWE debut. And that Fatal 4-Way kicked serious fucking ass, man. Great open to the show. Drew McIntyre, we got a little piece of news on Drew McIntyre. He walked away injured, but Triple H did say at the press conference that he will be okay. I got the news on that. LA Knight looked great. Jacob Fatu is a fucking monster. Everybody loves Fatu. And Damian Priest, he also brought what he usually brings to the table. That was a great match. Lyra is starting to finally, thank God, finally starting to come into her own, man. Becky Lynch did a very good job tonight at playing up the heel role, and the crowd was into everything that she and Lyra did tonight for the Intercontinental Championship. You could not have asked for a better match to get Lyra slowly moving up the ladder, and in the eyes of the fans, a credible champion. And Becky did just that. I have been very against and not a fan of Becky Lynch's heel turn. I think she sounds disingenuous. I don't believe when she speaks. But man, you cannot take away from the fact that Becky Lynch in that ring is a great fucking wrestler. She did everything that she needed to do, and she made Lyra look like $1 million out there. Excellent, excellent match. Probably the best Intercontinental Championship match that the women have seen since the title has been born. And a lot of people are probably wondering, we will discuss, where is Bayley? Why didn't we see Bayley at Backlash? The name is fitting. Becky took her out of a WrestleMania tag team match. Where is Bayley, being that Becky already admitted to taking out Bayley at WrestleMania? We will go over that. There's one very good reason why Bayley did not show up tonight, and they may very well be saving that for Monday Night Raw. Dominik Mysterio and Penta. We got an Intercontinental Championship match for the men, which is probably building towards something regarding El Grande Americano and the Luchadors at Worlds Collide when it's WWE versus AAA. He showed up and helped Dominic win and retain the Intercontinental Championship. Very good match. It was honestly the shortest of the matches tonight, which, believe it or not, for Penta is very surprising. But they had a very good match. More so a television match on pay-per-view, but it was still exciting to say the least. Gunther and Pat McAfee. If you guys ain't giving Pat McAfee his flowers after tonight, man, you are being disingenuous yourself. You're being a negativity grifter. You are being disingenuous, and you are just hating for the simple fact of hating. Pat McAfee fucking worked his ass off. Pat McAfee did more than anyone should have asked him to do tonight in there against Gunther. And what do I usually say with Gunther? The man doesn't have bad matches. I could get in there with Gunther and probably have a fucking good match with Gunther. That's how great he is. Excellent work. Probably the most sports entertained I was all night was Gunther and Pat McAfee. Awesome stuff. Might have been a little overbooked. Might have been a little silly to some. Some people still don't understand why. Some people are already creating the narrative online. Oh, Gunther was buried. He went 15 minutes with a color commentator. I don't look at that and use the word buried. I don't know why you're using the word buried. I don't think you guys know what the word means, the definition of the word buried means. Gunther was not buried. Gunther could have ended the match in 60 seconds. He refused not to. He didn't want to end the match in 60 seconds. He wanted to toy like a cat plays with a fucking dead bird. That's what he wanted to do. We'll talk about the match and how it all came about. I thought it was very good. And I love this new vile, just angry Gunther. He's just like a fuck. He's out for blood. He doesn't give a shit. If you're a commentator or someone in the locker room, he doesn't give a shit. I love it. So we'll talk about that. And John Cena, Randy Orton, man, surprised the fuck out of me. I'll tell you that right now. I've been saying for weeks, everything's been great. The promo work's been great. Not really much of a story. It's just them reliving off their history together over the last 20 years. So the WWE Championship, Randy's in St. Louis. It's the one time that we're going to get this match all year. It's the last time ever. And then I said the bell rings. And then it's going to be very difficult waters to navigate. But man, they did to everything that they could have possibly did, they did, and they worked it to the best of their ability. They pushed themselves to the limit as far as they could go, and you could not have asked for the match to turn out any better than it did, man, because I wasn't expecting a lot going in. Sure, there were a lot of smoke and mirrors. Sure, it was overbooked like a motherfucker. But it still ended up being entertaining. And then we got that seed being planted, potentially, of John Cena listening to the crowd chant his name and thank him, even though he's a heel. I wonder if that's John Cena now realizing that the fans do really love him and that he does really appreciate the fans. And then he goes to attack R-Truth at the Backlash post-show and puts him through the table. So we'll talk about this. I thought Backlash was a great show tonight. And I'm excited to talk about it with you guys right here on the podcast. Thank you very much for joining me here on this Saturday night. We got 3,600 people in here on a Saturday night. Tonight we are powered by Turtle Beach. TurtleBeach.com, one of my favorite sponsors. Tonight is sponsoring the show. TurtleBeach.com/scripts. Make sure you guys go get yourself a Stealth 700 Turtle Beach headset. It's one of the best headsets that I use when I game. I'm a Destiny 2 guy. I play Destiny 2 at least 3 to 4 hours a day. Love it. It's immersive, 80-hour battery life. One of the best headsets I've used and one of the most comfortable headsets I've used. A gaming headset is one of the most important pieces of equipment a gamer needs to have to get the advantage and just immerse yourself in the world of whichever game you're playing. And tonight they're sponsoring the show, man. TurtleBeach.com/scripts. Use that promo code scripts at checkout to save yourself 10% off your purchase. We'll talk about my friends over at Turtle Beach a little bit later on the show, but they are sponsoring tonight's show. Follow me on social media at JDfromNY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. We are less than 300 subscribers away from 171,000 subscribers here on YouTube. Shout out to everybody in the live stream chat. I appreciate you guys. Shout out to everybody watching me live on X. Appreciate you guys very much. If you guys want to support, there's a couple of ways to do that. Number one, hit that like button. Thumbs up goes a long way, man. It's free, and it helps me out tremendously. We got almost 800 likes already. I'd love to get this, and we got 3,600 people in here, man. 1,000 likes, minimum. So hit that thumbs up. If you guys are listening to me and hearing this right now, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought of Backlash. All the comments. Also, like the thumbs up. Helps us out tremendously in the YouTube algorithm. If you guys are listening on iTunes, Spotify, and all major audio platforms, thank you guys. I would appreciate you leave a rating on iTunes and Spotify. That helps me out and puts me and keeps me in the top 30. We are a top 30 pro wrestling podcast, and there's not many people like me in the top 30, man. We are one of the non-wrestling podcasts, wrestler podcasts, fan-made podcasts in the top 30 on iTunes, man. So thank you guys very much for that. Rating goes a long way. And go check out all the content on the channel. Plenty of it. We got content all week with more still to come this weekend. Going on into next week. Thank you guys very much for all the support. Let's get into this show, man. Backlash. I did not watch the Countdown show, so I'm not going to really talk about the Countdown show, but I did get notes from one of the sites. So we'll go over what happened here. Michael Cole, Big E, and Wade Barrett were on the Countdown show. Barrett conducted a Randy Orton interview earlier in the week that was teased. We got a video package on Lyra Valkyria defending her women's Intercontinental title. Jackie Redmond was backstage talking about remarks from both Lynch and Lyra, and they got words from both ladies. She got words from both ladies ahead of their match. Vic Joseph joined the panel to talk about Lyra's career progression. The discussion turned to Penta versus Dominic. The panel then recapped events that led to Gunther facing Pat McAfee. Michael Cole reiterated that he was entitled to share his opinions without having to face any repercussions. He said that McAfee would not go down without a fight, even in defeat, and he wished McAfee the best of luck in his match against Gunther tonight at Backlash. Peter Rosenberg and Jackie Redmond replaced Michael Cole and Wade Barrett on the panel. Orton was there. He was interviewed by Wade Barrett. He said that John Cena of 2025 is selfish when asked to describe him in one word. He then talked about the first time he met Cena in Ohio Valley Wrestling 2 decades ago, before he discussed how many titles and how many battles they've had together. The battles with Cena were the most fun of his career. Now, in Orton's mind, he believed that Cena was being selfish because he wasn't thinking of others with his recent change in attitude. Orton promised that if given the chance, he'd punt Cena tonight before going on a retirement run of his own that would last 5 to 10 years, and he'd have fun going on that run. So those are the last words for Randy Orton. Last night, we saw Randy Orton on SmackDown deliver a RKO to John Cena, and that was the last image we saw for tonight's Backlash. So that was the pre-show. Don't usually watch the pre-show. Nothing really happens on the pre-show, but WWE is making it a little bit more fan-friendly, and they're giving you a little bit more substance on those pre-shows. So that's that. If you guys want to go check that out, that's the pre-show. Backlash started with the Fatal 4-Way. This is Jacob Fatu defending the United States Championship against Drew McIntyre, LA Knight, and Damian Priest. This was awesome. I said this last night when we covered SmackDown Live. This match is going to need to deliver. Now, I knew it would deliver because the guys in the ring always deliver. But being that this was one of the more anticipated matches of the night and the one match there that we would look towards to give us, quote-unquote, great graps, I think this delivered in every sense of the word. This was awesome. So the bell rang. Knight and Fatu, McIntyre and Priest. All 4 guys were split into 2, and McIntyre brawled with Priest. Fatu brawled with LA Knight. They brawled in their own separate corners. Jacob Fatu was sent into the turnbuckle, and he was absolutely taken out of the equation early on in this match, only to then explode at the end of the match and give us that Jacob Fatu that the crowd is quickly getting behind. McIntyre was taken down by a Samoan drop from Fatu before he got crushed with a running corner hip charge from Fatu. As Fatu went up top, McIntyre raked the eyes and looked to hit a superplex before Knight intercepted and hit him with repeated stomps. LA Knight then headed up top in an attempt to slam Fatu off the top rope, but he got pushed down. McIntyre showed his strength as usual. He does that Tree of Woe, kind of lifting himself up in the corner, only to then toss his opponent off the top rope. He tried to do that, and he got himself back up to throw Fatu onto Knight, but Fatu recovered and unleashed on Priest and LA Knight. Fatu is now on the defensive here. LA Knight with a series of offensive moves. BFT from LA Knight. And then he got thrown down by a South of Heaven by Damian Priest, followed by McIntyre's Claymore, and everybody hit their big moves. Priest fell onto Fatu, but McIntyre pulled him away as the count was made. So this was a spot where they all hit their big moves. McIntyre hits the Claymore on Priest, and Priest kind of like a boxer who is just like hanging on the ropes. He's about to go down. He falls on top of LA Knight off the Claymore and falls into a pin. And McIntyre realized this and jumped on Priest to break up the pinfall. Otherwise, he would have lost the match after administering his finishing move on Damian Priest, who then absolutely had no idea he even fell on top of LA Knight to get a decisive pinfall. So McIntyre broke that up. That was a pretty cool spot. Oh, my goodness, man. We got to take a break in the action here. Look at this shit.
I drank a beer.
Oh, my goodness.
I drank another beer. 3 beers. 4 beers. 5 beers. 6 beers. 7 beers. 8 beers. 9 beers. And a Bloody Mary.
Holy shit. We got a $100 super chat in here from Catch 22 with a $99 super chat. Oh, my goodness. Catch 22 says, love your shows, JD. You got me watching wrestling again almost 2 years ago. Cheers. Oh, my goodness. That's another round of applause right there. That is crazy, man. Thank you very, very, very much. And how can we forget? We got another one, man.
I drank a beer. I drank another beer. 3 beers. 4 beers. 5 beers. 6 beers. 7 beers. 8 beers. 9 beers. And a Bloody Mary.
Oh, my goodness, man. We got Best in the World Matt with a $100 super chat. First, it was Tanahashi's last United States match in Chicago last month. Now it's Backlash for Cena's retirement tour. Say what you want about the main event. St. Louis showed up tonight. Crowd was hot for sure. So glad I got to see Cena live at least once, even if it is at the end. Oh, my goodness, man. We got 2 $100 super chats. And I want to say thank you to both of you, Best in the World Matt and Catch 22.
Give me a hell yeah. I said give me a hell yeah.
Thank you guys very, very, very much, man. Appreciate the both of you for coming on in here. Oh, my goodness, man. Best community in the entire space. Thank you. So, yeah, that was a great spot. Claymore onto Priest. Priest falls onto LA Knight. Makes a cover without actually knowing he made a cover because he got knocked out by the Claymore. And McIntyre had to break up the pinfall off of his own finishing move, man. Pretty cool spot. LA Knight went for a BFT. That got countered. McIntyre nailed him with a Future Shock DDT. I don't know if I'm the only one, but every time I see someone get nailed with a Future Shock DDT, I am just reminded of CM Punk tearing his triceps. Crazy. This led to a Claymore on LA Knight, and it appeared that we were on our way to having a new United States champion. That was until Priest pulled the referee at the last second before he could make the 3 count. Now, this is all legal. No DQs in a Fatal 4-Way match, so it's all legal. So we got Priest and McIntyre. They're brawling, and they sent each other crashing into the crowd over the timekeeper's area, and they start brawling into the crowd. Fatu and Knight were left in the ring as Fatu had LA Knight in position for a jumping moonsault. LA Knight dodged at the last minute. We got a bunch of elbows back and forth from LA Knight. He had the match won, but Fatu kicked out at 2. And the elbows I'm talking about are his jumping elbows from the second rope to the top rope and down with the flying elbow drop. He delivered 2 of them. Fatu kicked out. Now, in the crowd, camera pans over to McIntyre and Damian Priest, who are in the crowd, and their fight escalated on top of two very high production crates. Priest dropped McIntyre after some struggle on these production crates with a South of Heaven chokeslam through two tables down below. And this was somewhat scary because Priest came down hard, delivering the chokeslam, and McIntyre's head looked like it bounced on the concrete coming down through both tables. This was a great looking spot. We got a holy shit chant. It was very nicely done. Back at ringside. Now, Priest and McIntyre are taken out completely. You don't see them again. So back at ringside, LA Knight continued to get in some offense on Jacob Fatu. He threw Fatu into the ring post, and then he planted him on the announce table. LA Knight headed up to the top rope, and he looked to have Fatu completely dead to rights here. He was about to do another elbow drop until Solo Sikoa pulled Fatu out of harm's way. So Fatu was laid out on the commentary table, and LA Knight's about to do a big elbow drop from the ring, from the top turnbuckle to the commentary table. He's going to do one of them Shane McMahon-like elbows through the commentary table. Solo had a plan, and he pulled Fatu off of the commentary table. As LA Knight jumped down and started getting into Solo Sikoa's face, we see a quote-unquote mystery man or a mystery individual. He attacked LA Knight, and we didn't see who he was because he attacked LA Knight while on the opposite side of the barricade. He then jumped into the ringside area over the barricade, and it was quickly revealed. I knew it was immediately. Jeff Cobb. He is now in WWE officially, and he laid LA Knight out, and he threw LA Knight back into the ring. So this was a great attack. He not only attacked LA Knight, he fucking completely obliterated him against the steel post. He ran into the steel post with a cross body block. So you see how I don't give a shit what I do to myself, Jeff Cobb is. So Fatu recovered. He had a stare down. He didn't know what was going on. He told Solo Sikoa, I got this. I'm the game plan. I'm going to do what I do best. All gas, no breaks. He did not appreciate Solo having a game plan without telling him. He did not appreciate the help from Jeff Cobb and Solo Sikoa. He gets back into the ring. He does a hip attack and a mighty moonsault, and Fatu wins, pins LA Knight, retains the United States Championship. 1, 2, 3. Fatu, post-match, continued to stare down Solo Sikoa and Jeff Cobb, and they appeared to leave on their own without Jacob Fatu. So I'm not surprised by the Jeff Cobb appearance. I predicted as much last night on the SmackDown stream. I think this is good and a right spot for Jeff Cobb. I already see some resentment online. Well, Jeff Cobb is 42 years old. They're bringing him into the WWE, but they want to get rid of Dakota Kai, who's only 37 years old. It is what it is, folks. I'm not going to make an ageism deal out of this. Jeff Cobb is in. The ones that got released are out. Everybody's going to be fine. WWE clearly did not have any value in some of the people that they released. Clearly, they see value in what they're going to be doing with Jeff Cobb. Jeff Cobb got a decent reaction. He's not widely known to the WWE fan base, but he got a decent enough reaction where it got a holy shit chant from St. Louis. I thought this was great. When you guys see Jeff Cobb, if you're not familiar with Jeff Cobb, if you don't know who Jeff Cobb is, man, you're going to quickly become a Jeff Cobb fan. The things that this man can do at the pace he does it, and for the size of the type of athlete he is, half of the stuff he does in the ring, he should not be doing. And you're going to fall in love with what Jeff Cobb does in that ring. Great. I've had the pleasure of calling a few Jeff Cobb matches for House of Glory, and he is a tremendous piece of business. He's awesome. Jacob Fatu, I don't know where this story is going, but clearly we are getting some dissension here between Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa. That is the ultimate end goal here. Solo eyeing Jacob Fatu in the United States Championship. Solo resenting Jacob Fatu for getting popular, getting over on his own, not needing the bloodline, not needing Solo feeling abandoned. He brought him into WWE, and now he feels like he's distancing himself from the family. Solo has this feeling about all of this happening. Jacob Fatu was brought in as the right-hand man for Solo Sikoa as he led his own version of the Bloodline, and Jacob Fatu got over with the audience. He doesn't want anything to do with that anymore. He's got his own game plan. He's the United States champion on his own. He did it on his own. He didn't need Solo. Solo's jealous. So now he's gone out there and hired a new right-hand man in Jeff Cobb. And I'm assuming at some point we're going to get the Tongans back together and we're going to get a new bloodline. We're going to have Jeff Cobb, Tama Tonga, and Tangaloa as the new bloodline. I don't know what the bloodline is going to do on WWE television. I think we've moved on from the bloodline. But Solo is going to be better with a right-hand man, and Solo's going to be better with a bodyguard or, someone like that, some muscle, because he's a heel. And that's the type of character he plays, where Fatu doesn't need that type of thing. He also doesn't need to be a body, to compensate for somebody else. He doesn't need to be a bodyguard or a right-hand man or a henchman. Jacob Fatu is now quickly becoming the star of the act. So it's about time we move him on. And there's no point in waiting. He's ready. Fans want to embrace him. Fans want to cheer him. And WWE is listening, and they're shooting him up the ranks. And he's got a fucking rocket strapped to him. And it is going to be a tremendous run for Jacob Fatu. Great. I thought this was a great match. Everything that it needed to be, it was. And we got the debut of Jeff Cobb. The nice added surprise element to this thing as Jacob Fatu retains the United States Championship. Darksider NYC says in the chat, Fatu wouldn't answer the question at the media scrum. Good. Nor should they. He's pissed. Why would he want to talk about it? He doesn't know who the fuck Jeff Cobb is and why Jeff Cobb is here. Got to watch Friday Night SmackDown. I thought this match was great. Great way to open the show. And the United States Championship title picture has not looked this good in years. We're coming off an LA Knight run that was less than spectacular, a Shinsuke Nakamura run that was fucking awful, and an LA Knight second run that didn't do anything. And he basically got the title back at the worst time because, as you see, we were getting Fatu climbing the ranks very quickly. Excellent match. Great way to start the show. Intercontinental Championship match. Women's IC title on the line here. Lyra Valkyria, champion, defending against Becky Lynch. I said what I said about Becky. As soon as we got the heel turn and she admitted that she attacked Bayley and the excuse that she gave as to why she attacked Bayley and why she's turning heel, I didn't buy into it. I didn't. I know I'm not the only one. After the last Becky heel run, I wasn't really giving this one much of a shot. But I think one thing we know out of all of the terrible acting and the just disingenuous portrayal of a heel, the one thing that I think we can all understand and really come to know together is that Becky Lynch is a great fucking wrestler. And every time she's in the ring, most of the time she delivers a great match. She's also someone that doesn't have bad matches. She doesn't. Very rarely. Lyra is something, man, I'll tell you. WWE is clearly high on Lyra Valkyria. They want her to be, I know she said it, she doesn't want to be the next Becky Lynch, she wants to be the next Lyra Valkyria, but man, they want her, when Becky cannot do this anymore, they want Lyra to be what Becky is now. That's what they want. She's had quite the run, man. She came over from NXT UK as a relatively unknown individual. She made the jump to NXT in Florida. She did what she did there. Former NXT Women's Champion. She got called up to the main roster with little to zero fanfare. And WWE created a mid-card secondary title for the women's division, and they gave it to Lyra, who basically was unproven in the eyes of the audience. There was no equity built up there. We didn't know who she was. We weren't given a reason to care. We didn't know who she was as far as, why are we being asked to care about this woman when we don't know a fucking thing about her? All we know is that she has a catchy theme music where fans fucking make bird noises. That's it. This Becky Lynch feud started to really show Lyra's character. finally started Lyra breaking out of that shell where she wasn't given the opportunity to see, how she would be in front of the audience, how she would react in front of, a heel like Becky Lynch and how the fans would react to her. She wasn't given the opportunity to really hold a microphone and showcase who she is, her characteristics, her body language, the tone of her voice, how she gets angry, these emotions. How are you going to show me nothing and then ask me to care? The more we hear, the more we see Lyra, the more fans are going to react. And they reacted big tonight. They did. Everything that these two women did, they reacted. And a lot of that has to do with Becky Lynch because Becky Lynch knows what the fuck she's doing out there. And you can see why they opted to turn Becky heel and not Bayley and work Becky with Lyra. It's working. No matter what you think of Becky's heel run and her cringy promos, it's working. Especially if you're talking about Lyra, it's working. Now, I want to get this out of the way. We'll get into the match, but Becky Lynch, keep Becky Lynch in your mind. A lot of people are probably wondering why Bayley did not show up tonight against Becky Lynch and why Bayley did not make an appearance at Backlash. There's one very good reason why Bayley did not show up tonight. Now, Lyra and Becky, they start the match off with a shoving contest. Lyra eventually won the beginning stages of this match, and we got a stalemate off of a couple of reversals. Lyra trapped Lynch in a swinging pendulum submission hold, which is one of her signature moves. I've seen that very often from Lyra. And then she caught her in a surfboard stretch submission, and she maintained control over Becky Lynch. Lynch got dropped with a drop kick from Lyra, but she recovered to avoid a top rope attack here. Lynch continued to beat down on Lyra and keep Lyra grounded. She came back, did Lyra. Big superplex. Becky Lynch kicked out. Lyra is in control here, but Becky comes back with the neck breaker. Lyra kicks out after Becky goes for a cover. Lyra continues some offense here, and she gets the better of Becky Lynch. She connected with a top rope leg drop. Another cover and only a 2 count. So there's a battle in the middle of the ring here. We got dueling arm bars that ended with Becky Lynch seemingly getting in a disarm her. So she got her finishing move locked in on Lyra. Becky Lynch caught Lyra with a manhandle slam, and Becky goes for cover, and Lyra kicks out. Becky could not believe that Lyra kicked out of the manhandle slam. So now Becky's frustrated. She's showing frustration. She headed over to the timekeeper's area, and she tried to take a steel chair. And that was a distraction because it was a plan all from the word go. She goes to expose the top turnbuckle. After Jessica Carr, the referee, took the steel chair away from her, Becky said, all right, thank you for the distraction. That was easy enough. She goes over to the corner, and she takes the turnbuckle pad off of the corner, off of the top turnbuckle. Jessica Carr did not see this. Becky Lynch then sent Lyra into the middle turnbuckle as she had another manhandle slam, but Lyra kicked out again. Lynch tried to send Lyra into the ring post, but the referee saw it. Lynch connected with a Nightwing, Lyra rather, connected with a Nightwing, and Lynch kicked out thanks to the referee taking too long. So Lyra, after a small pinfall exchange here back and forth, Lyra got a flash roll-up pin to retain the championship, and she retains the Intercontinental Championship, and Becky could not believe it. So as soon as the match was over, we didn't have any time for Lyra to celebrate. Becky went right on the attack. She locked in a disarm her on Lyra Valkyria, and we got a whole bunch of people out there trying to pull Becky Lynch off of Lyra. We got Adam Pearce out there. We got Jason Jordan out there. We got other agents out there. And Becky needed to be ushered to the back by Jason Jordan because she wanted to go back and continue the attack on Lyra Valkyria. So Becky did not win the championship, which I'm shocked by. I thought Becky was absolutely going to win the title here, but Lyra ended up retaining, and the crowd reacted accordingly. I was shocked that Lyra retained, and Becky did the post-match attack, and she had to be pulled off of Lyra as she was escorted to the back. Couple things here. There was an elbow shot by Becky on Lyra that looked like it did a little bit too much to Lyra's nose. Lyra was visibly holding her nose. I don't know if there's anything reported on Lyra's well-being, but Lyra could very well have a broken nose off of the shot from Becky Lynch. So I don't know if there's any news on that, but it did look a little serious because Lyra, she immediately went to go cover her nose, and it might have been a shot that connected a little bit too hard. Secondly, there was a spot in this match where they were both on the outside, and Becky started talking trash to somebody in the front row who supposedly was Lyra Valkyria's fiancé. Now, if you took a look at this guy and you watched the show along with us tonight, you would have seen that he really is not the type of guy you would expect to be with Lyra Valkyria. And all I could say, folks, is that if you have a dream, there may be a shot out there for you to get someone like a Lyra Valkyria. That's all I'm saying. Third, Bayley. You're probably wondering why Bayley didn't show up here tonight. The one thing I could tell you is, even if you expected Bayley to show up tonight and stop Becky from the attack on Lyra, what good would that have done? WWE wanted to accomplish two things here. Number one, if Lyra was retaining, Lyra needed the moment to retain the championship and get the reaction from the audience. Number two, they wanted to continue and build upon Becky's heel work as a heel, and with the post-match attack on Lyra, they did just that, and they accomplished that. By having Bayley come out there, it would have taken away from both moments. So why would you want Bayley out there? Tonight was about Lyra retaining, and tonight was about Becky being obsessed with Lyra beating her. Thus, we got the post-match attack. If Bayley came out there, the spotlight would have been on Bayley, and the WWE did not want to put the spotlight on Bayley. They wanted it on Becky and the heel turn in the post-match attack, and they wanted it on Lyra retaining the title and pinning Becky in a flash pin fluky way. That was it. So no Bayley. I would be surprised if we don't see Bayley on Monday, because I think it's about time we get Bayley interjected back into this thing. I mean, we don't really know the extent of the attack. I mean, all we know is that Becky took out Bayley at WrestleMania. I think Bayley needs to be back on TV if she's going to be playing a role in this Becky and Lyra storyline. I thought this was great. This was the best Intercontinental Championship match that the women's division's had since its inception. And Lyra's had some good matches as of late, man. The gauntlet match with Bayley. We got the match with Bayley one-on-one. And Lyra, they gave the Intercontinental Championship to really build equity in that championship. Now, I thought they'd give it to Becky because Lyra really wasn't doing anything with the championship, and they figured, I figured WWE would give Becky the championship to build some prestige for that Intercontinental Championship, with Becky then dropping the title to Lyra after she did some work with it. I mean, that still could very well happen, but we didn't get that tonight. But all in all, Lyra is slowly getting over, and a lot of that is through her work rate. And we got two very good promos from Lyra the last couple of weeks. We saw her character. We saw her emotion, the way she speaks, the way, she interacts when someone is going at her on the microphone. More of that. The way that we've seen Lyra on Monday night the last 2 weeks. More of that. The more we see of that mixed with the in-ring action, which we know she's a great wrestler, everything's going to start coming together. So we'll see what happens there. But I thought this was a great match. 2 for 2 so far for Backlash. And I thought this was the best women's Intercontinental Championship match that we've had so far since the title has been introduced to television. Speaking of the Intercontinental title, Dirty Dominik Mysterio. He went one-on-one with Penta. Crowd was very much into both of these guys. Dominic may be in a heel faction as the Judgment Day leader, co-leader. Liv Morgan's the leader. Finn Balor thinks he's the leader, but Finn Balor ain't leading Judgment Day, bro. We got some European-style chants. Oh, dirty, dirty Dom. I love how they have now incorporated the European soccer-style chants here in the United States. Man, St. Louis was fucking great tonight. Now, Dominik Mysterio and Penta, this was more like a TV match than it was a PLE match. The first two matches got significantly more time than this. This went about 10 minutes. It wasn't anything to write home about. It wasn't anything too crazy. It's a solid match that was placed squarely in the middle of a pay-per-view as a come-down match. Honestly, even though the crowd was hot for both of these guys, it was, in my eyes, the come-down match, because then we got Gunther and Pat McAfee, which we all knew was going to be hot, and then John Cena, Randy Orton. That's self-explanatory. This was fun. Dominic and Penta, IC title. Early on, Penta landed a backstabber on Dominic. He goes for a cover, he gets a 2 count. Dominic had the advantage. He sent Penta to the ropes, which led to a suicide dive, turned into a DDT at ringside. Dominic is in control here off the DDT, sent Penta into the ring, landed a slingshot splash on Penta for a near fall. Dominic is still in control. Penta fought back. Dominic had him in a chin lock, so Penta fights out of the chin lock. He connected with a sling blade on the champion. Dominic went to the outside. Penta hopped up on top and stepped on the top of the turnbuckle and posted himself as he connected with a splash on the champion at ringside. Dominic caught Penta and looked to connect with the Three Amigos, but Penta fought out of it. 619 attempt from Dominic as Penta was in the ropes. That was dodged, who then delivered a crucifix bomb, which looked a little sloppy, to be honest with you. Crucifix bomb by Penta for a near fall 2.5 on Dominic. Dominic, all of a sudden, sees Penta in the ropes again. And he's taking a page out of Liv Morgan's playbook. He delivers Liv's finish, Oblivion. And he hits Penta with Oblivion. But that was not enough. He goes for a cover, he gets a 2 count. I don't know if he should be using his girlfriend's finish only to be used as a setup move, and then Penta kicks out at it too. Because Dominic delivers a more devastating Oblivion than Liv Morgan does, and Liv wins with it, but Dominic does not. Come on now. So now we're on the apron. We got both guys, champion and challenger, on the apron. Penta landed a Mexican destroyer on the apron. He has not shed his AEW ways yet. Right on the apron. Both guys fall to the outside on the mat outside. Carlito at this point makes his way down to the ring as Finn Balor and JD McDonough hop over the timekeeper's barricade as Carlito has the referee distracted. Now, there's some miscommunication between Balor and McDonough. Apparently, something happened out there. They were waiting to attack Penta. Instead, Finn Balor went to go get a steel chair, and he wanted the attack to be a little bit more brutal than what they originally had planned. The time it took Balor to go get the chair and use the chair, the referee turned around and seen all the other members of the Judgment Day trying to help Dominic win the match, and they got booted out of ringside. The referee sees them, and he kicks both Balor, McDonough, and Carlito, all three of them, to the back. Goodbye. So they all got kicked out. Penta comes back, and he hits a dive in the ring. He's in the ring now, so all three members of the Judgment Day, who are not supposed to be in this match, they're all standing in the aisleway. Referee's yelling at them, and he's leaning over the ropes. Penta dives over the referee, over the ropes, onto Judgment Day. Tope con hilo over the top rope. So on the apron, Balor is still out there. He jumps and causes another distraction. So even though the referee kicked these guys out of ringside area and sent them to the back, Balor's still arguing with the referee. And behind the referee's back here, as Penta is on the top rope, El Grande Americano, who may or may not be Chad Gable. We don't really know. We don't really know the identity of Grande Americano. Headbutted Penta with the loaded mask. Knocks Penta off the top rope. This gave Dominic an opening. He falls off the top rope. Dominic goes up top. Big frog splash off the top rope. and that was enough for Dominik Mysterio. Dirty Dominik Mysterio pins Penta and retains the Intercontinental Championship. It's a fun match. It wasn't really anything to really dive into and, get lost in. It wasn't some, oh my God, man, I got to go back and watch this. This is one for the ages type of match. It was a fun match that set up for what's to come going into Money in the Bank weekend with AAA and WWE and Worlds Collide. I'm assuming we're going to get Chad Gable or Grande Americano, maybe Dominik Mysterio against the Lucha Brothers. We don't really know. Looks like they may be setting up for something where the Lucha Brothers are going to get back together and team at this AAA show. It's going to be something to behold. It's going to be a great night. But it looks like El Grande Americano and his feud with the Luchadors is not over by a long shot. I thought this was fun. More of a TV match on a PLE. It served its purpose. It was placed right in the middle of both the opening matches here, U.S. and Women's IC title. And then we got Gunther, McAfee, Cena, Orton. It was placed nicely in the middle of this, and it served its purpose. I don't really like Penta losing all that much. Penta's taken more L's than W's lately. Hopefully that turns around. But I think this is all, again, serving a purpose for El Grande Americano, Rey Fenix, and Penta to come back together, cohesively work together to vanquish El Grande Americano, who's not only causing the problems that Penta has right now, but he's disrespecting the luchador tradition by not only disrespecting the lucha libre style with his character El Grande Americano, but he's also cheating with the loaded mask, and they got to put a stop to that. So I'm expecting them to get back together. That AAA show should be really fun. Worlds Collide on June 6th, Los Angeles. So we'll see what happens there. But this was a fun match. Dominik Mysterio retains the Intercontinental Championship. Gunther. This is the one match I was looking forward to most. Gunther versus Pat McAfee. A lot of people looked at this. Early on, I even looked at this. I said, why is this happening? The one thing I did not want to have happen was Gunther versus Pat McAfee. As soon as we got Pat McAfee getting choked out by Gunther, I was like, no. I hope it doesn't lead to a match. I hope they just simply write Gunther off of television, keep him off television for a few weeks, usher in Bill Goldberg, and we get Goldberg versus Gunther one-on-one, and Goldberg can go retire. Then they announced the match. Pat McAfee cut a very emphatic promo. He cut a very good promo and really started to sell me on a match between him and Gunther. He sold a lot of people on a match. And then we got the face-to-face that we got on Monday. And I thought they both did a tremendous job. And Pat McAfee, for a second week in a row, cut a great promo. They sold me on this match. At first, I was not into it. I did not want to see it. I didn't care for it. I said, there's not enough substance on this show where you are going to make it make sense that one of the matches on this show is being taken up by a color commentator. Man, did they really put everybody's worries to bed after this match was over. This was probably I would say the United States Championship match is definitely in discussion. This may very well have been my favorite part of the show. Everything about this. Was it some spectacular match that's going to go down in the annals of history for Gunther when he gets inducted into the Hall of Fame? No. It served its purpose. And what do we talk about here, folks? The most important thing that you could possibly do watching pro wrestling show, long-term booking. All of this, everything that you got tonight, everything that transpired tonight is going to lead into long-term booking. That's it. Now, the long-term booking and who is going to come out of the long-term booking, I don't really care for, but the way that they're setting it up is really fucking cool. I will admit. We'll talk about that a little bit. They both make their ring entrance. Gunther starts things off by pushing McAfee into the corner before the two start sizing each other up. I don't know if Pat McAfee wants to size Gunther up here. Gunther nonchalantly threw McAfee from a headlock position and then started doing some technical moves to trap McAfee in an armbar. So he's just toying with McAfee at this point. I mean, he could have ended the match whenever he wanted. I see some people throwing the word buried around. Listen, Gunther came off in a way where he let Pat McAfee have the offense. He could have ended it at any time. He wanted to toy with McAfee. He wanted to go out there and legitimately just fucking maim him. He told you what he was going to do on Monday. He wanted to brutalize him. He wanted to maim him. Only by the hands of God will he be able to take me off of you when I lock in the sleeper hold. He basically told you what he was going to do, and he did it. So he starts trapping McAfee in an arm bar. McAfee escaped, and he avoided a Gunther chop right from the early onset of the match. He dodged Gunther's chop. Speaking of the chops, he got fucking fucked up. He got fucked up. Did Pat McAfee. McAfee threw some bombs back at Gunther, but Gunther really fucking tore into him with them chops. McAfee came back with a headlock of his own, and he got sent to the apron outside. McAfee comes back. He starts mocking Gunther. And then he gets a clothesline from Gunther, and he levels Pat McAfee right down on his back. McAfee gets back up. He tried to hit Gunther with a chop, and Gunther basically no-sold it. He's like, is that all you got? And then he administered a chop that made me belly laugh so hard. He just completely chopped the flesh off of Pat McAfee, and you could already start to see Pat McAfee's chest turn beet red. His chest turned as red as Paul Heyman turned red on Monday, yelling at Jey Uso. That's how red Pat McAfee's chest was already turning. Now, Pat McAfee's in the corner. He is fucking compromised like a motherfucker because Gunther chopped the shit out of him. He continued to punish him, chop after chop after chop. McAfee's chest becoming beet red now. He absorbed Gunther. Pat McAfee tried to throw some offense at him, whatever he could. Gunther ate a punt kick to the back from Pat McAfee, and McAfee looked to have that babyface miracle happening right before our very eyes. He hyped himself up after the punt kick. He tried once again to hit Gunther with some chops, but then he got dropped with a big boot right to the face, did Pat McAfee. Gunther taunted Michael Cole on the outside, who Michael Cole was very animated during this match. He kept getting up and cheering on Pat McAfee. Stay down, Pat. He started yelling at Gunther to end it when it got really serious. Just end it. What are you toying with him for? You can end this anytime you want. What are you doing? Just end it. You don't need to do this. And he started cheering Pat McAfee on. McAfee had some spurts of offense where, a miracle could very well happen. And Michael Cole was his biggest cheerleader tonight. McAfee hyped himself up. Michael Cole is cheering him on. Gunther taunted Michael Cole and invited him to get into the ring to witness this beating of Pat McAfee firsthand. McAfee comes back after Gunther is toying with Michael Cole on the outside. He recovered, couldn't maintain anything. Gunther connected with a German suplex and took McAfee out again. Gunther then tried to apply a sleeper hold, but McAfee attempted to escape. He tried to block the sleeper hold. Another German suplex. Gunther grounded McAfee again. So Gunther continued to play like a cat with a fucking dead bird. Continued to play with Pat McAfee on the top rope, and he looked for an avalanche German suplex. McAfee managed to avoid disaster here, and he tried for a moonsault. Pat McAfee attempted a moonsault. He flips over. He basically lands on his feet. Gunther avoided it. He tried for a German suplex. McAfee landed on his feet again out of the German suplex, flipped over and landed on his feet, and he hits a series of punt kicks on Gunther. That wasn't enough. That wasn't enough. He goes for cover, and it wasn't even a 2 count. Gunther kicked out at a 1. Oh, but Gunther was buried, JD from NY 206. Pat McAfee delivered 2 of his best shots in the entire match, and Gunther kicked out at a fucking 1. Yet you got geeks online. Oh, but Gunther, he was buried tonight, JD from NY 206. Great. Thank you for coming, you fucking idiot. He was not buried. He kicked out at a 1. McAfee and Gunther faced off in the middle of the ring and exchanged more strikes until Pat McAfee and his attempts at some offense, he got taken out again. Clothesline. I mean, the clothesline landed him right on top of his fucking head. And then he was met with a powerbomb. Nice powerbomb by Gunther. Now it is Gunther just toying with his food, man. He's just playing with his food at this point. McAfee was trapped in a Boston Crab by Gunther. Michael Cole got up off commentary and left Wade Barrett all by himself. He gets over to the ring. He's now cheering Pat McAfee on from ringside. Pat McAfee is inches, fingertips from the ropes to break this Boston Crab. Gunther took notice that McAfee was near the ropes and Michael Cole was cheering him on. And what does he do? He releases the hold and he drags Pat McAfee back into the middle of the ring as Michael Cole is just distraught over Gunther just toying with McAfee like a little bitch. So he transitioned into a deeper Boston Crab now in the middle of the ring. McAfee intervened with a boot. Now, Gunther took notice of this. Michael Cole is in the ring at this point. He attempted to hit a powerbomb. McAfee intervenes with the boot because Gunther has Michael Cole in his grasp now, and he looks to hit a powerbomb on Michael Cole. Pat McAfee comes in with a big boot, and he was met with a big boot from Gunther for his troubles to help his friend. Michael Cole grabbed Gunther's feet as McAfee tried for a pin. He tried for a leverage pin on Gunther from behind, and Michael Cole tried to pull the Bobby Heenan Ravishing Rick Rude spot from WrestleMania 5 on The Ultimate Warrior by holding Gunther's feet down on the outside away from the referee's vantage point, and Gunther kicked out. Gunther couldn't believe that Michael Cole tried to cheat to help Pat McAfee win a match over him. This was great. At this point, you know, Gunther's fucking pissed. So Gunther kicked out. Michael Cole was not strong enough to keep Gunther down in that leverage pin. McAfee gets a sleeper hold. He gets a sleeper hold on Gunther. And that attempt was stopped immediately. Gunther destroyed him with a fucking lariat. Gunther caught McAfee with a sleeper hold, and he appeared to have it all wrapped up. McAfee struggled. He tried to fight out of it, simply could not escape, and Gunther, referee stoppage. Stopped the match. Pat McAfee passed out. Gunther wins, and he destroys Pat McAfee in what I thought was the most entertaining match of the entire night. This was good stuff. This was good stuff. Post-match, Pat McAfee came to pretty quickly. The one thing, if I was to pinpoint one thing I did not like about this, is that Pat McAfee got up out of the sleeper and was already eyes wide open from the sleeper. As soon as the bell rang and Gunther released the hold, he was already sitting up and he was looking at Gunther. He got back on his feet and he was staring at Gunther. There was just this awkward face-to-face with the referee standing in the middle of them with Michael Cole standing behind Pat McAfee. I didn't know what was going on. I thought Gunther was going to blast both of them. I thought he was going to continue the attack on Pat McAfee. I thought we would get Goldberg tonight. I'm glad we did not. I would not lobby for Goldberg to make an appearance tonight. I did not want to see Goldberg tonight. But I thought that something more was going to happen here and Gunther was going to continue to beat down Pat McAfee, but he did not. There was just this awkward stare-off. It's face-to-face. And then Pat McAfee is standing there and Gunther gives him like a salute. He's like commending him for lasting as long as he did. He leaves the ring. He looks back at Pat McAfee one more time and then exits up the aisleway and through the back. And that's it. And that was it. People are going to use the word buried. Don't listen or don't acknowledge anything where it says Gunther buried. WWE buried Gunther. Don't listen, don't read, don't acknowledge. This was not a burial. Gunther told you exactly what he was going to do. He was going to play with Pat McAfee to a point where he was going to brutalize him in the worst way possible. He was going to toy with his food. Like I said before, a cat playing with a dead bird. That's exactly what he did. Gunther let the match go as long as it did because he wanted to punish Pat McAfee. He is upset he lost to Yeet Man at WrestleMania. He is upset he lost his World Heavyweight Championship. He does not appreciate the fact that Michael Cole and Pat McAfee cheered on. They were supposed to be unbiased journalists and commentators, yet they're clearly choosing a favorite. Gunther didn't appreciate that. He took his anger out on them after he lost because he couldn't do it to Jey Uso, so he figured he'd choose easy targets in Pat McAfee and Michael Cole. I like that direction. I didn't understand it. I didn't want to see a match between McAfee and Gunther, but we got it. And I thought the attack was great. The promos from Pat McAfee were great. The stare down between McAfee and Gunther on Monday was great. This was the best built match coming into the show. It was great. Gunther let this match go as long as it did. He wanted it that way. He could have ended the match in 60 seconds if he so chose. So Gunther was not buried. I did enjoy the spurts of offense here from Pat McAfee, the miracle spots. They weren't anything too crazy. Pat McAfee's a grown man. He's an athlete. He's an ex-NFL player. You got a couple of punt kicks in there. You got a couple elbows, a couple of punches, slaps in the face, a couple of knife-edge chops. He did his moonsault like we usually see from him, or attempted moonsault anyway, landed on his feet. There were some miracle spots. I don't mind it. It popped the crowd. It got the crowd more invested in the match. I expected this match to be a fucking slaughter for 5 minutes. But the way that it was produced and the way that it was set up, I did not mind it, and I was thoroughly sports entertained. Michael Cole being included here to get up off commentary and start being a cheerleader for Pat McAfee, even getting involved in the match, I like it because it shows the lengths that Gunther just doesn't give a shit. It plays into Gunther's overall vibe. He is now a merciless killer. He is picking on people that are way below his pay grade. That's great. That makes a great heel. And it's all being done for the equalizer to stare down Gunther. You want to fuck with these guys who have absolutely no business being in the ring? You're the greatest wrestler in the world. You call yourself the ring general and you're fucking with commentators. Why don't you fuck with somebody your own size, motherfucker? That's where Bill Goldberg comes in. And I think the setup for that match, even though I can't stand Bill Goldberg and I don't want to see Bill Goldberg in 2025, Bill Goldberg's already announced that he's going to retire this year. Good riddance. But if there's one guy that he's going to be in the ring against, if it's not Braun Breaker, spear versus spear, it's going to be Gunther. And again, I'm going to reiterate to you, I don't like Goldberg. I hate Goldberg. I don't like what Goldberg is about. I don't want to see Goldberg in 2025. But I'm going to say this fifth thing here. Gunther does not have bad matches. If there's going to be a Goldberg versus Gunther match, whether it's in Saudi, at Night of Champions, or SummerSlam, Gunther does not have bad matches. I am not going to write that match off simply because I believe that Gunther has it within him to bring Bill Goldberg to the best match of his WWE run. And it's going to be great. Again, I don't care to see Bill Goldberg, but the setup for what's happening here is great stuff. It's cool. It's a vibe. Gunther is merciless. Pat McAfee's an ex-football player, ex-NFL player. He's got to make the phone call. You want to fuck with us? I got some buddies in the NFL. And here comes Bill Goldberg. I don't know when, I don't know where, I don't know how. Maybe we get some more attacks on the commentary team, and maybe on one random Monday, we see Bill Goldberg just show up. I don't know. The rumor is that Saturday night's main event is going to be done in Atlanta, all-in weekend. So we'll see what happens. Goldberg, Atlanta, appearance, stopping Gunther. Match is set up for SummerSlam. Could be. I thought this was great. I was thoroughly sports entertained. And to me, this was the best thing on the show. Main event. we got John Cena and Randy Orton, the undisputed WWE Championship on the line. You know, a lot of us said, we said this individually. I said it. He said it. We said it on Tuesday on TNT, episode 94. If you missed it, go check it out. Both Solid Monster and I said, Randy Orton's great. Great promo. Organic. He feels real. John Cena. One of the greatest promos of all time, John Cena. Has his heel run connected the way that we all expected it to? No. But John Cena is a great promo. The interactions that John Cena has with Cody and Randy, I mean, they feel great. They sound great. Crowd loves it. Crowd is invested. Crowd gives back to Cena in energy levels that many people are jealous of, that they wish they could get. But then you get these two guys, and then the bell rings. And I didn't really expect John Cena versus Randy Orton, who to me, you know, they want to call this a legendary rivalry. I don't really go back and relive John Cena versus Randy Orton classics from back in the day. I don't. I never have, and I don't plan to start. So in 2025, with the roles reversed, Cena the heel and Orton the babyface, I wasn't really here to raise the flag of, oh my God, I can't wait to see this year because John Cena's heel. I didn't like the matches then, and I don't like the matches or the idea of a match now. John Cena wrestled completely it was awful at WrestleMania. It was so fucking bad. The match layout and the match itself with the ending was one of the worst WrestleMania main events of all time with Cody Rhodes. And I said, how do you expect Randy Orton and John Cena to have a great main event if John Cena and Cody Rhodes completely shit the bed at WrestleMania? No matter what you think of both guys, the bell will ring, and we're not going to get anything all that great. A lot of us were proven wrong here. Was it a great match? No. No, I'm not going to sit here and bullshit you. It wasn't a great match. In fact, John Cena is holding the championship because it's his final year. Which means, great, it's his final year. We get to celebrate John Cena. John Cena's operating as a heel. But the quality of matches in the main event is down. The quality of the matches that the WWE Championship deserves is down. And the work rate that Cody Rhodes gave the WWE Championship with matches with Kevin Owens and AJ Styles and Roman Reigns. Those matches, downhill. We're not getting those matches until CM Punk wins the title or Cody Rhodes wins the title back. The quality of matches that the WWE Championship has seen is not going to be present with John Cena holding the championship. The main event is not going to be a wrestling clinic like it has been. We got that with Rhodes. We got that with Gunther. It's not happening with John Cena. It's not happening with Jey Uso. We're in a transitional period, folks. We're going to get back there. We're going to get back there. We just got to wait it out a little bit. Cody's going to win that championship back. Punk may win the championship. We don't know. Cody's eventually going to win that championship back. Seth Rollins is going to win the World Heavyweight Championship. We will get back to the World Championship title picture on both shows, getting back to the work rate championships. Right now, we're not in that. I'm not expecting that. If you are expecting work rate out of this run from John Cena, no matter who he's in the ring with, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Now, granted, I love Randy Orton. I think Randy Orton's great. When Randy Orton is tasked with wrestling, Randy Orton is fucking great. He is excellent. What he did with John Cena tonight was the limit that John Cena could go, the limit that John Cena could push himself to. I mean, he was basically fucking tippy toes off the edge of the mountain, man, looking down. He pushed himself as far as he could go. The match that they constructed pushed itself as far as it could go without being totally offensive. And tonight, I did not mind it. I didn't. This match had the energy from St. Louis. This match was better than the WrestleMania Night 2 main event. And even though it was filled with smoke, mirrors, and was overbooked as fuck with referee bumps and Nick Aldis and the crew coming out there and R-Truth and all this distraction, it ended up being a solid main event that ended a show in a very good way. That's all I could say. I enjoyed myself here. Now, I don't think that John Cena needs to have this type of match every fucking match. It will get boring really quick. So we're going to have to do something really, really, really creative the next couple of times out. Cena won with Travis Scott at WrestleMania. It was awful. I mean, Cena, every which way, man, there was just overbooking to fucking hell here. Can't be doing this type of match every fucking time he defends the title. So they got to come up with something new. This was fun. This was great. Crowd energy was awesome. Orton got a big hometown reaction. They sang his theme song. Cena got booed. He got the energy he usually gets being out there. They made the ring introductions. The bell rings. And I expected disaster. Started off slow. I was not really enthused by the first 5, 6, 7 minutes of this match. I'm like, oh, God. I'm looking for this match to be over already. So they lock up. Collar and elbow tie-up. Old school. Couple of times to start this match. Nobody won. Stalemate. They would lock up again. Stalemate. Cena then offered a handshake. And it was all a ploy. He raked the eyes or poked the eyes of Randy Orton. You want old school? Can't get more old school than that, man. Pulling out the good old Roddy Piper eye poke. Randy Orton came back with an eye poke of his own. And Cena went to the outside after being poked by Randy Orton in the eye. In the ring, Orton dropped Cena with a shoulder block. He then applied a headlock. Cena escaped. He got taken down with another shoulder block, which caused him to go to the outside and take a breather again. Orton ran down, and he ran around the ring, and he refused to let Cena walk out of the match. Cena was leaving the match. He was walking up the aisleway. So Orton ran up the aisleway, chased Cena, beat up Cena in the aisleway, and we get back into the ring. Cena, out of nowhere, takes Orton down with a clothesline, and he gets control of the match again. Orton fights back, and he caught Cena with some offense. He's in the corner. Instead of giving Cena the 10 punches, we get 20 punches. Up until this point, we haven't gotten really anything that resembles a WWE Championship match in the main event. It's very old school, very basic. Collar and elbow tie-up. Cena taking a fucking break on the outside. I'm done with this. I don't want to defend my title. He's not worth my time. Fuck you guys. He tries to walk out. Orton brings him back to the ring. We get the corner punches. We are fucking just old schooling it up here. Old school by both Cena and Orton. Doesn't really give me a lot of hope for what the rest of the match is going to be, but that's what we got up until this point. Orton then began to target Cena. Stomps, his signature stomps. Randy Orton stomps. Dissecting every body part. Followed by a knee drop to the champion. Cena's back up. He reversed an Irish whip from Orton. Trapped him in a sleeper hold. This led to back and forth sleepers from both Cena to Orton, Orton to Cena. Orton delivered a superplex on his Cena's sleeper attempt. Both men were left down in the ring. Cena comes back, shoulder charges, spin out suplex, followed by a 5-knuckle shuffle. Orton fought out of an AA attempt from John Cena, and he answered with his signature power slam, his snap power slam. So, again, up until this point, no real, oh my God moment. Very basic, very, very formulaic, very fundamental from both guys hitting their key spots. Nothing too crazy. Crowd is into it, though. Crowd is just happy to be there. It's Cena's last match in St. Louis, his last Backlash, last time ever between Orton and Cena. They are into it no matter what's going on here. But me at home, I'm like, Jesus, I can't wait for this fucking match to be over already if this is what we're getting. Cena countered a draping DDT attempt with a roll-up. Sloppy-looking roll-up, but he got a roll-up. He followed with the STF. Michael Cole called it the STFU. I like the fact that they're going vintage. the STFU, locked in. Orton escaped, and he connected with his trademark DDT on the ropes, and he left Cena out cold in the center of the ring. So he's in the corner. He's hearing the voices. He's locking in. He's setting up for the RKO, but Cena countered an attempt of an RKO with an attitude adjustment. Nailed him. Cena appeared to connect the attitude adjustment, but upon instant replay, it looked like Randy Orton, in fact, did hit the RKO as Cena got him in an AA, flipped Orton over, and Orton grabbed Cena's neck out of the AA and delivered an RKO. So not only did Orton get the AA, but he also delivered the RKO at the same time. Kind of an RKO, but not really a full-fledged RKO, but enough to stop Cena from making a pin attempt on the AA. Once both guys got back to their feet, we got strike exchange from both guys. Orton to Cena, Cena to Orton, boo, yeah. Cena caught Orton with an attitude adjustment. This one actually hit flush. He got it. Full on. 1, 2, Orton kicks out. Cena tried for another AA. Now, this is where we start spamming finishes. It's like John Cena's playing WWE 2K25, and he's got fucking 4 finishers stored up, and now he's just trying to win the fucking match. That's what you're going to get. That's what you're going to get. I don't like it, but that's what you're going to get until Cena loses the championship. So, Cena, AA, and Orton kicks out. Cena tried for another AA. Orton used the ropes to escape. Cena then attempted to hit shoulder tackles, and he was met with an RKO out of nowhere. Now we're just trading finishing moves. Cena managed to roll out of the way, and he avoided Orton making the pin. Orton tried to go for the punt kick. Cena was in position, but John Cena escaped, and he hit another AA. This one was the closest pinfall of the match. It was basically a 2.99. Cena mocked Orton's pose. He did the Orton pose, and he tried for a punt kick of his own. Orton dodged a Cena punt kick. He looked for an RKO. Cena pushed him right into the referee. Chad Patton, the original referee, got blasted. Cena pushed him, not really accidentally, but he pushed him purposely to knock Orton into the referee. Cena hits another AA. He goes outside. He grabs the WWE title from the timekeeper's area. Cena comes back into the ring. He got met with an RKO. No referee now. 1, 2, Cena kicked out. Cena rolled out of the ring. Orton looks towards the commentary table, cleared it away, and obviously, you know what Orton does with the commentary table. He loves that back suplex on the commentary table. Cena once again pushed Orton into the referee, and Chad Patton again is blasted, but this time, he goes headfirst into the steel steps. He's knocked out, taken out of the match. Cena took Orton and put him on his shoulders, and he looked for another AA, but this time on the commentary table. But Orton escaped and turned the tables with an AA of his own to John Cena on top of the commentary table. Now, the table, I don't know what happened on this night. Usually the WWE tables here are indestructible, or they usually break when they are asked to break. This table did not break, and then the table just collapsed, and it looked foolish, and it looked lowbrow, and it looked lame. The table fell apart, unfortunately. Orton looked around. He's like, I'm not having that shit happen, man. We're going to rectify that almost immediately. He looks around underneath the ring. He pulls out a folding table, and he sets up a folding table in the middle of the match around ringside. He takes Cena again, and instead of doing the AA through the commentary table, which failed, he brings Cena over to the folding table and delivered an attitude adjustment through Cena, or through the table on Cena, and he did the spot over again just to give the fans, a, hey, man, thank you. You wanted it. You want the tables. This one didn't work out, so I'm going to give you another one. Here you go. You're welcome. Inside the ring now, Cena got himself up. He was taken down by an RKO. We're just spamming AAs and RKOs now. Another referee ran down. We got a second referee, because Chad Patton went into the steel steps. He's taken out. RKO. No referee. Another referee quickly runs down, makes the count. Cena kicks out at 2. Orton's arguing with the referee. Cena grabbed the WWE Championship belt. Orton hits another RKO on Cena, but there's no referee to make the count. No referee to make the count. So he got knocked out. Second referee got knocked out. Nick Aldis, several officials ran down to the ring, and it's just absolute bedlam. We got agents, we got Nick Aldis there, and Orton is just irritated. Just irritated. This second referee, you know what I found funny? This second referee got knocked out. Chad Patton went into the original referee. Chad Patton went into the steel steps, and nobody gave a fuck about this guy. But the second referee got blasted with the title belt because Cena knocked him out, and everybody's paying attention. Oh, my God, woe is me. The referee's down. The second referee's down. But what about the first guy that went into the steel steps? Nobody gave him the attention. Nobody went to go check on him if he was all right. They all checked on the second referee. What about the first referee? I guess they didn't like him too much. I guess he's not a popular guy backstage. So Nick Aldis and several officials are out there. Orton is just fucking pissed. Orton snapped. He dropped Aldis with another RKO. I wonder what that means if they're going to play into that. Another fine, maybe. Another $50,000 fine there. He dropped Aldis with an RKO. St. Louis loved that. Cena was again in position for a punt kick, but R-Truth stopped Randy Orton from delivering a punt kick. Aldis, by the way, wasn't the only guy to take an RKO. I mean, this was RKO left and right. I mean, JB Noble got an RKO. Jason Jordan got an RKO. I think he was out there. All the officials out there got RKO. There was like 5 RKOs. Orton just fucking snapped and delivered an RKO party. He set it for the punt kick on John Cena. He wanted to end it. This was it. He's going to win the title. R-Truth showed up last second before Cena and the punt kick connected Cena. R-Truth is out there. He gets in between Orton and Cena. He puts his hands up. Stop. Stop. He got dropped with an RKO. Orton couldn't believe it. What are you doing? Why? Why are you out here? Go away. Why are you out here? You don't belong out here. Why are you ruining me? RKO. This allowed Cena to the low blow on Orton from behind, followed by a shot with the title belt. Chad Patton, who got thrown into the steel steps, finally came back to life. He crawled back into the ring, and that was it. Cena pins Orton 1, 2, 3, and John Cena retains the WWE Championship. Cena made the pin. The last real champion retains in the main event of Backlash. After the match, Cena took the microphone. He had the music cut. He said that he did not need music. He needed competition. I thought somebody was going to come out here to end the show. We got nobody. We got nobody to come out here. Orton had disappeared. Orton wants the title. He lost it. Cena wants competition. Nobody showed up. Cena said that this is what the last real champion looks like. And despite the obvious setup for a surprise, nothing happened. Nobody came out. And that's the way the show went off the air. Now, if you guys watched past the credits, Cena was being heralded by the crowd in St. Louis. Thank you, Cena. Thank you, Cena. There was this look on John Cena's face as if he was almost embracing the crowd. It gave him, you know, this look of like almost seeds being planted that he may turn back into a babyface. This doubt over him wanting to kill pro wrestling almost. But the fans were giving him love and thank yous at the end of the show. And he didn't really know how to react to that. It almost made him feel differently than what we've seen and heard from him. I don't know. I don't know if WWE is planting seeds for a John Cena babyface turn after turning heel, undoing all that. I don't know. But that's the way the show went off the air. You guys told me before the stream started that R-Truth got put through the press conference table at the end of the show, and he got AA'd through the table. So I guess John Cena is going to continue the heel run for now, and we'll see what happens there. We may get a match out of that. I thought that R-Truth may end up joining John Cena on this expedition of heel. I don't know. But it looks like we may be setting up for R-Truth versus John Cena, hero versus inspiration here. But I thought that they did as good as they possibly could with what they were given. And you know, to Cena's credit, who, you know, is not going to give you a fucking work rate match in 2025. They did everything that they could do to make sure this match did not end the way and did not come off the way that Cody and Cena did. And I commend that. I appreciate that. A little bit too much on the finisher spam. That's what guys like Cena do because they can't do much at this stage of the game. A lot of RKOs. I'm over it. Finisher spam does not interest me. Normally when it's used, in a way where, we got a great work rate match, fine. But when you use that as your go-to and that is your crutch, I can't really sit here and tell you it's a great match. This was fun. The crowd made it what it was. And I thought that they brought each other to the very best that they could, given the circumstances with John Cena and Randy Orton being opponents for each other in 2025. And I enjoyed it. Smoke and mirrors, deflecting away from what Cena cannot do physically at this stage of his career, and mixed with the overbooking of everything, the interferences and the referee bumps, they made it enjoyable and they made it fun. Nobody expected Orton to win the championship, and they did what they could to really make sense of how he did not win the championship. And now we move on. And now we go into Saturday night's main event. We probably got R-Truth versus John Cena, what John Cena is going to do going into the Money in the Bank show, and what happens at SummerSlam. When's Cody coming back? When are we going to see Cody? Is he going to go after John Cena again? We don't know. We don't know. But being that this was overbooked, it did not take away from my enjoyment. I thought from top to bottom, Backlash was a great show tonight. Really surprised the shit out of a lot of people. And I do think from top to bottom, over 3 hours, this was some of the most explosive WWE has been all year for a consistent 3-hour basis. They did a very good job, a very admirable job in the main event. They made it feel better than what John Cena and Cody Rhodes did at WrestleMania. And I honestly think that Backlash was better than night 2 of WrestleMania. Or night 1, rather, of WrestleMania. Not night 2. Night 2 was very good. But night 1 of WrestleMania, I feel like this show was better than night 1 of WrestleMania. And I thought they delivered. Thank you guys very much for all your support. We had upwards towards 3,700 people in here on a Saturday night. Thank you guys very much for all your support. If you guys did enjoy the stream, if you guys did enjoy what I brought to you tonight, please hit that thumbs up. We'll really appreciate it. If you guys are watching up until this point, comment is always appreciated. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you thought of Backlash tonight, what your favorite match was down below in the comments section. Super chats are open. We're going to go over your super chats in just a little bit. But tonight, I want to thank my sponsor for tonight's show, Turtle Beach. TurtleBeach.com/script. You guys are going to use that code SCRIPT at checkout and save 10% off your brand new Turtle Beach headset. They do just more than headsets. They do every gaming peripheral that you guys could possibly ask for. Tonight, we are sponsored by Turtle Beach. All right, man, we're back again, and everybody knows I love Destiny 2, man. It's my favorite game when I sit down to relax after a hard day of content. I love jumping on Destiny 2. But have you ever gotten halfway through a Grandmaster Nightfall and your fire team starts arguing about whether to advance or maybe stay back because it's getting a little bit too dicey? You can't hear a thing because your headset sounds like it's broadcasting from the moon. Yeah, that's not going to be a problem anymore. I've been using the Turtle Beach Stealth 700 headset, and listen, I don't say this lightly. It's like I'm actually in the tower eavesdropping on Zavala and Ikora. The audio is insanely crisp. You can literally hear a Hive Knight blinking into existence behind you before your ghost does. Plus the 3D spatial sound. Bro, it's like having a sixth sense. I can tell when a Guardian is creeping up with a shotgun from the next zip code. And the mic quality. Let's say I no longer sound like I'm stuck in the vault of glass. Crystal clear comms so I can call out, "Revive me, Blueberry," when I die without sounding like I'm underwater. Also, bonus points, it's wireless. 80 hours of battery life. That means I can run an entire raid, cry over the loot I didn't get, and still have juice left over for some Crucible action. And let's not forget about the Bluetooth. I'm over here listening to the Salamonster while I'm waiting for people to rally at my flag so we can start the next encounter. Multitasking at its finest. So if you're playing Destiny 2 and still using your old janky headset from the Red War era, you need to upgrade. Seriously, your ears and your fire team will thank you. Head to TurtleBeach.com and use my promo code SCRIPT for 10% off your entire order. That's 10% off your entire order at TurtleBeach.com with promo code SCRIPT. Make sure you guys go get yourself a Turtle Beach Stealth 700 headset. Make sure you hear everything and miss nothing. Maybe except your Nova Bomb. That's still on you. Thank you guys once again. Go get your Turtle Beach peripherals. Turtle Beach Gen Stealth 700 Gen 3 headset. TurtleBeach.com/scripts. Use that promo code script at checkout. I want to thank them once again for sponsoring the show right here on Off the Scripts. Let's get into your super chats. Michael Krause with the $2 super chat. Good Saturday, JD and OTS. How are we all doing? Yeah. Michael Krause. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Michelle Moran with the $2 super chat. Fatal 4-Way was truly a banger. Drew Priest continues. It does. One of these days, they're going to realize they have to make Drew McIntyre the world's heavyweight champion. One of these days. The Boss Mo Jackson with a 199. Jeff Cobb is here. Yeah. OTS for life. Saga continues. Excited to see what Jeff Cobb does. Jordan Saylor with a new membership. Jordan. Thank you. What the fuck is Jordan drinking tonight? Glow J with it too. I have to know, what was that stuff in Lyra's hair? I don't know. It might have been bird droppings. We don't know. Boss Mo Jackson with the 199. Becky didn't win. So who takes the title off of Lyra Valkyria? It could still very well be Becky. I don't think they're done yet. I don't think that they're done yet. Captain Solo with a $5 super chat. I'm not familiar with Jeff Cobb's work, but he looks like the love child of Roman Reigns and Rhino. Bro, when Jeff Cobb gets in the ring, man, if WWE is going to allow him to do what he does best, man, you are going to be a fan. Believe me. Boss Mo Jackson with the 199. Pat vs. Gunther was fun. Funny moments and cool spots. Cody Snyder with a 5. I remember Cena and Orton on the Eddie Guerrero Raw Tribute Show in 05, where Coach said these two guys are going to lead us into the future. Coach was not wrong, man. Coach was not. It's like he had a crystal ball 20 years ago, bro. Good old Coach, man. Boss Mo Jackson with the 199. Randy theme song is one of the best. Fans love singing it. And Cena age is showing. JD predicted a sorry Cena match. Again, guys, you're going to get this type of match, man. It's not going to be the work rate title until Cena loses it. Mel's Match Chat with 48 months. Today is my 43rd birthday. And watching Backlash with my husband, just partying and having some Coronas and wine. That's what the fuck I'm drinking. Coronas and wine. I don't know about that mixture, but I hope you have a 43rd happy birthday, Mel. Clone Force with the 12 months. Today is my 26th birthday, JD. NOTS family. May God bless you all. I've been listening to you since I was 17 years old. You are one of the best podcasts. Thank you, Clone Force. I appreciate that, brother. Thank you for being with me here as a member for 12 months. Toya Ain't Nice with a $2 super chat. Backlash main event is better than the Mania main event on night 2. I agree. I do. Matt, thank you, brother, for the $100 super chat. Appreciate you, man. Glad you got to go, and I'm glad you had a great time at the show tonight. Toya Ain't Nice with another $2 super chat. Pat versus Gunther was better than I thought. I think they surprised a lot of people. Pat McAfee deserves his flowers, man. Start giving them to him. Johnny Boy Vaccaro with a $20 super chat. I felt Randy and Cena would be a better match than Mania. Two 20-plus-year-old vets who will dance at a slower pace compared to Cody's style. Randy giving 15 RKOs and referee Patton overselling was a bit much in this match. Laughing my ass off. Poor Shad Patton, man. Guy got blasted twice. He got thrown into the steel steps. And then the second referee who came down the aisle to referee this match and see a conclusion. He got blasted with the title belt, and they all ran to his well-being and didn't even go check on the other guy. Thank you, Johnny Boy. Richard Cohn with a $5 super chat. Hey, JD. Backlash was good tonight. John Cena and Randy Orton was good. Can somebody tell Tony Khan this is how you do it? Not that shit he does. Yeah. Well, to be fair, Richard, other than them being too fucking long, AEW does deliver on pay-per-view. I'm not so confident about Double or Nothing, but most of the time they deliver on pay-per-view. They just need to be shorter. Toy Ain't Ice with $2 super chats. Randy giving RKOs like candy on Halloween, and Becky pushing Lyra to new heights. That was amazing. Those ladies killed it. For the only women's match of the night, they killed it. AJBZ 1994 with a $5 super chat. Hope you're well, JD. Was there live and thought we was on fire. Better have come off well on TV. Keep kicking ass, my man. Hashtag OTS family. Thank you, AJ. You guys came off excellent, man. You were fucking loud and hot all night, and we heard it. We heard it from the comfort of our own home, man. Good job. Ryan McCoy with a $20 super chat. Sat floor tonight. Crowd fucking brought it tonight for all 5 matches. By far the most fun top to bottom I've had at an event this calendar year. Interested what the best community in the IWC thinks of Backlash. We enjoyed it, brother, and you guys fucking killed it. St. Louis was hot. Finally. Tribal Chief. 21 months in the venue. Thank you, Tribal Chief. Show wasn't bad. Cena did better than I expected. Keep up the great work, JD. You make wrestling fun, pal. Thank you, Tribal Chief. Royalty with 20 months. You make me look like a genius, JD. That Jeff Cobb nugget was a great call. Also, I need Take a Wish. And I'm a JD from NY guy shirt. ASAP. You need Take a Wish? What is Take a Wish? You need JD from NY shirts? Link is in the description, brother. Go get your merch. Matt Fisher with a $4.99. You could say we got to the truth of the matter. I will see myself out. Johnny Boy with a 5. Hey, JD. When will we see you wear Penta and Americano masks? OTS family is waiting for it, brother. I know. I have to come up with a plan. I don't have the Grande Americano mask yet. They did not ship it yet. I got the Penta mask. I don't have the Phoenix mask. And I don't know when the All-In mask is happening. So we will be doing those streams. I gotta come up with a day and a theme that makes sense. Matt Fisher with a $1.99. I guess R-Truth just died. Yeah. Arrangements with a $4.99. I attended Mania in Vegas and Backlash tonight, and I actually enjoyed myself more tonight than I did at Mania. You're not the only one that feels that way, bro. You're not the only one that feels that way. Tonight was a better night than night 1. Killer Cam 0714 with a 2. Cena AA'd R-Truth through the table at the post show. I heard. Mason the Legend with a $4.99. What's next for Gunther? I have no idea. Probably more of the same until Goldberg comes back and saves the day. Joshua Taylor with a $4.99. How soon do you think before Cena turns back to a babyface? I'd say after SummerSlam. Slayer owns their music. JD, if you played Angel of Death, I bet nothing will happen. I'm not going to take that chance, bro. Not going to take that chance. I thought they were with Universal Music or Sony Music or something like that. Shoot Studios, 712. New membership. Shoot. What the fuck are you drinking tonight, Shoot? We got a $2 super chat from Howie Potter. JD Backlash was great. OTS for life. Love you, bro. Thank you, Howie. Lauren with a 2. John Cena versus Randy Orton was fantastic. Lauren loves her some Randy Orton. Jaxo, 23 with 28 months. John Cena gave R-Truth his biggest fan and supporter on AA through the table at the post-show media scrum. We're probably going to get Ron Killings versus John Cena. Demeter Bullion. Demeter Bullion, R, Toothy, Boothy, Juicy, Ruthy, Luffy, D. With a $7.99. J-Boy, what you saying when our Roofy win the title and Roofy's Steph at Triple H's 60th birthday at the club? Triple H don't know he wasted dancing with only his tie and pants on. Says Demeter Bullion, R Toothy, Boothy, Juicy, Ruthy, Luffy, D. With a $7.99. Pizza Night of Chill Zone with a $5 super chat. I've been impressed with Pat McAfee's wrestling since his match with Undisputed Era at War Games back in the day. Well, yeah, he was like 5 years younger then. Now he's 5 years older. He still had a decent showing against Gunther tonight. Survivor 1993 with a $6.99. Can't wait to see John Cena retain the title at SummerSlam thanks to interference from 50 Cent. Cena winning thanks to rappers makes me LOL. Yeah, can we not put that out there in the universe, bro? Furious Nation with 43 months. What's up, JD? Good Backlash PLE tonight. Welcome to WWE Jeff Cobb. Guy is great. Maybe we see Bronson Reed involved in the Bloodline story on SmackDown. I don't know. Rumor is there may be a draft. We'll see if Bronson Reed stays on Raw or moves over to SmackDown. That'd be pretty fucking cool. Steph with a $4.99. What's up, JD? Been watching you since SummerSlam 24. If and when Cena turns face, how do you think it'll happen? Much love from PA. Cody and Cena, or Cody, Cena, and Punk. Any conglomeration of the three, I'd say. I think Punk is going to have a big say in what John Cena does moving on into the second half of the year. We may see Punk being that influence. And Johnny Bishop with a 5. Dirty Dom and Grande Americano will team to dominate wrestling for years to come. I could see it. I could see Dirty Dom and Grande Americano teaming up against the Lucha Brothers at Worlds Collide. Anyway, guys, I'm about to get out of here. Thank you, man, for a great stream. We had 3,700 people on a Saturday night for Backlash. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome stuff, guys. Thank you very much for all your support. Any other late-breaking news I will have for you guys tomorrow. If not, you'll see me Monday. Follow me on social media at JDfromNY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. Go check out all the content on the channel. There's plenty of it. Hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the second channel. Everything you need is linked down below. And go check out Turtle Beach. TurtleBeach.com/script. Use that promo code SCRIPT to save 10% off your Stealth 700 headset, courtesy of the podcast. Guys, I'm getting out of here. Thank you for a great stream tonight. Enjoy your weekend. And I'll see you back live again for Monday Night Raw right here on Off the Script. I'll see you guys later.